the message that shattered everything. Welcome to Rose and Retribution. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Have you ever received a message that made your entire world collapse in a single heartbeat? Maya Laurent stared at her phone screen, her hands trembling so violently that the device nearly slipped from her grasp. The notification glowed in the darkness of her bedroom. One new message from an unknown number. But it wasn't the sender that made her blood run cold. It was the attachment, a video. And in that video, her fiancé, Daniel Whitmore, the man she was supposed to marry in 3 weeks, was tangled in silk sheets with someone she knew all too well, her best friend since childhood, her maid of honor, Sophia Chen. Maya's breath came in short, painful gasps as she watched the timestamp. Last night, while she had been at home, planning their wedding, addressing invitations by hand because Daniel said it was more personal, more meaningful. While she had been choosing between ivory and cream napkins because she wanted everything to be perfect for their special day. While she had been dreaming of their future together, he had been creating a nightmare she could never unsee. The phone slipped from her fingers and hit the plush carpet with a muffled thud. Maya sat frozen on the edge of her bed, still wearing the expensive silk nightgown Daniel had bought her for their anniversary. Ironic. Everything felt ironic now. Every gift, every kiss, every whispered promise of forever suddenly felt like a carefully constructed lie. The perfect life that was never real. Maya had always been the girl who had it all figured out. At 28, she was a successful interior designer with her own boutique firm in downtown Boston. She came from old money, the kind of wealth that whispered rather than shouted. Her family, the Laurents, had built their fortune in shipping and real estate over 3 generations. But unlike many trust fund children, Maya had worked hard to prove herself, building her business from the ground up, using only a small loan from her father that she had paid back within 2 years. She had met Daniel Whitmore at a charity gala 4 years ago. He was charming, ambitious, and devastatingly handsome with his dark hair, green eyes, and that smile that made her knees weak. He worked in corporate law at one of Boston's most prestigious firms. On paper, they were the perfect power couple. In reality, as Maya was now discovering, they were a beautiful lie wrapped in expensive paper. Sophia had been thrilled when Maya started dating Daniel. She had been there for every milestone, every date recap, every moment of falling in love. Sophia, who worked as a marketing executive, had been Maya's confidant, her sister in everything but blood. They had grown up together in the same affluent neighborhood, attended the same private schools, shared their first heartbreaks and their biggest dreams. Now, as dawn broke through Maya's bedroom windows, casting golden light across her tear-stained face, she realized she had been living in a fantasy. The question that tormented her wasn't just why they had betrayed her. It was how long. How many times had Sophia sat across from her at their favorite cafe, listening to Maya gush about Daniel, while hiding this poisonous secret? How many family dinners had Daniel attended, holding Maya's hand under the table, while planning his next rendezvous with her best friend? The confrontation that changed everything. Maya didn't sleep. She couldn't. As the sun rose higher, painting Boston's skyline in shades of pink and gold, she made a decision. She wouldn't cry anymore. She wouldn't fall apart. She would face them both and watch them squirm. She dressed carefully, choosing a cream-colored designer dress that hugged her curves perfectly, paired with her highest heels. She styled her dark hair in loose waves, applied makeup that made her look flawless despite her sleepless night, and spritzed on the Chanel perfume Daniel had given her last Christmas. If she was going to confront them, she would do it looking like the woman they had thrown away. Daniel's apartment was in the Seaport District, a modern high-rise with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the harbor. Maya had a key. She had helped him decorate the place, choosing every piece of furniture, every color scheme. Another irony that wasn't lost on her. She arrived at 9 in the morning, knowing Daniel rarely left for work before 10 on Fridays. Her heels clicked against the marble lobby floor as she bypassed the doorman with a familiar wave. He smiled at her, having no idea she was walking toward her own execution. The elevator ride to the 15th floor felt like an eternity and an instant all at once. Maya's heart hammered against her ribs, but her hands were steady now. The shock had burned away, leaving something harder, sharper in its place. She slid the key into Daniel's lock as quietly as possible and pushed the door open. The apartment was silent except for the soft sound of running water from the bedroom. The shower. Maya walked through the living room she had designed, past the kitchen where she had cooked countless dinners, and stopped at the bedroom doorway. The bed was unmade, sheets tangled exactly like in the video. Women's clothes were scattered across the floor. Not her clothes. Sophia's distinctive red dress from last night lay crumpled beside Daniel's suit. The shower turned off. Maya heard laughter, feminine and bright. Sophia's laughter. Then Daniel's deeper voice, saying something Maya couldn't make out, followed by more laughter. Maya walked to the closet and sat down in the velvet armchair she had picked out 6 months ago, crossed her legs and waited. The moment truth came crashing down. The bathroom door opened, releasing a cloud of steam. Sophia emerged first, wearing nothing but a towel, her wet hair plastered to her shoulders. She was looking back over her shoulder, saying something to Daniel, when she turned and saw Maya sitting there. Sophia's face went through a spectacular transformation. Confusion, recognition, and then pure, undiluted terror. The towel nearly slipped from her fingers. "Maya," Sophia gasped, stumbling backward. "What are you? How did you get in here?" Daniel called from the bathroom, oblivious. "I can't find the—" He walked out wearing only a towel wrapped around his waist, and froze mid-step when he saw Maya sitting there like a queen on a throne, watching them both with eyes that could cut glass. "Hello, darling," Maya said, her voice eerily calm. "Hello, best friend. Don't let me interrupt. You both seem to be having such a wonderful time." Daniel's face drained of all color. "Maya, listen. This isn't... We didn't mean for you to find out." Maya finished for him, standing up slowly. "Oh, I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you both were perfectly content to keep lying to my face while planning my wedding. Tell me, Sophia, were you actually going to stand beside me at the altar? Were you going to hold my bouquet while I married the man you've been sleeping with? How long has this been going on?" Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Real tears, Maya noted with disgust, as if she had any right to cry. "Maya, please. I never wanted to hurt you. It just happened. We tried to fight it. But what?" Maya's voice rose, the calm facade finally cracking. "But you couldn't help yourselves? Is that what you're going to tell me? That your feelings were just too strong to resist?" Daniel stepped forward, holding out his hand as if approaching a wild animal. "Maya, please, let's talk about this rationally. What we had was good, but Sophia and we have something different, something real. I didn't want you to find out like this, but maybe it's better this way. You deserve someone who loves you completely, and you don't." Maya laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "You proposed to me, Daniel. You got down on one knee in front of my entire family and promised to love me forever. Was that not real? Or were you already sleeping with Sophia by then?" The silence that followed was her answer. Maya felt something break inside her chest, something that she wasn't sure could ever be repaired. Sophia wrapped her arms around herself, shivering despite the warm apartment. "It started 8 months ago," she whispered. "At your birthday party. We were both drunk, and it was a mistake. But then it kept happening, and we fell in love, and—" "8 months," Maya repeated, the words tasting like poison. "8 months you've both been lying to me. 8 months of lunches where you listened to me talk about wedding plans, Sophia. 8 months of Daniel coming home to me, kissing me, making love to me, while thinking about you."
"I'm sorry," Sophia sobbed.
"I'm so sorry, Maya. I never meant for this to happen. You have to believe me." Maya walked to the door, then stopped and turned back. Both of them were standing there, wrapped in towels, looking pathetic and exposed. Good. Let them feel exposed. Let them feel a fraction of what she was feeling. "The wedding is in 3 weeks," Maya said softly. The invitations are sent. The venue is booked. The dress is altered. Everything is ready for a perfect ceremony. Daniel's face showed a flicker of hope. Maya, if you want to talk about this, maybe we can. I want you to know, Maya continued, her voice like ice, that I'm going to destroy you both. Not today, not tomorrow, but I will make you pay for what you've done. You think you can betray me and just walk away? You think you can take everything from me and face no consequences? She smiled then, and it was a smile that made Sophia take a step back. You have no idea who you've crossed. My family has connections in every corner of this city. Your law firm, Daniel? My uncle sits on the board. Your company, Sophia? My father is your biggest client. By the time I'm done with you, you'll wish you had never met each other. You'll wish you had never met me. Maya, don't do this, Daniel said, his voice tight with barely concealed panic. Don't make this uglier than it has to be. Maya's laugh was sharp as broken glass. Uglier than it has to be? You cheated on me with my best friend for 8 months while I planned our wedding. It's already as ugly as it gets. I'm just going to make sure everyone sees exactly how ugly it really is. She walked out, closing the door behind her with a soft click that somehow felt more final than a slam. The war begins. Maya made it to her car before the trembling started. She gripped the steering wheel so hard her knuckles turned white, breathing through the waves of pain and rage that threatened to drown her. But she wouldn't break. Not here. Not where they might see. She drove to the one place she knew she could fall apart safely, her older brother's penthouse. Alexander Laurent was everything their father wanted in an heir. Ruthless in business, loyal to family, and protective of his little sister to a fault. When Alex opened the door and saw Maya's face, he didn't ask questions. He just pulled her inside and held her while she finally broke down and cried. She told him everything, showed him the video that had been sent to her, watched his expression go from shocked to absolutely murderous. I'm going to kill him, Alex said flatly. I'm going to ruin his career, destroy his reputation, and then I'm going to kill him. No, Maya said, wiping her tears away. That would be too quick, too easy. I want them to suffer, Alex. I want them to lose everything slowly, painfully. I want them to watch their perfect little romance crumble while their lives fall apart around them. Alex looked at his sister with new respect. Tell me what you need. Maya smiled, and this time it wasn't broken or bitter. It was calculated and cold. I need you to help me plan the perfect revenge. And I need you to introduce me to someone. Who? Damien Cross. Alex's eyebrows shot up. Damien Cross was a name that carried weight in Boston's elite circles. He was a self-made billionaire who had built a tech empire from nothing, known for his ruthless business tactics and his reputation for destroying anyone who crossed him. He was also devastatingly handsome, notoriously single, and according to rumor, looking for ways to expand his influence into old-money Boston society. Why Damien Cross? Alex asked, though Maya could see the understanding dawning in his eyes. Because, Maya said, her mind already spinning with plans. Daniel and Sophia took something from me. They humiliated me, so I'm going to show them exactly what they lost. I'm going to walk into every event, every party, every place they might be, on the arm of the most powerful, most desired man in Boston. I'm going to make them watch while I build something real with someone who's everything Daniel pretended to be. And then, when they're drowning in jealousy and regret, when their little affair has cost them everything, I'm going to twist the knife. Alex grinned. You know, Maya, I've always known you had steel in your spine, but I'm just now seeing it. They wanted to see me broken, Maya said quietly. Instead, they're going to see me rise, and they're going to realize that betraying a Laurent was the biggest mistake of their pathetic lives. The unknown enemy. What Maya didn't know, as she sat in her brother's penthouse planning her revenge, was that the video hadn't been sent by accident. Someone had been watching her, watching Daniel and Sophia, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Someone who had their own reasons for wanting to see Maya's world burn. In a shadowy office across town, a figure sat behind a desk, watching footage of Maya leaving Daniel's apartment building, her head held high despite the tears streaming down her face. The figure smiled, fingers drumming against the mahogany surface. Phase 1 complete, they murmured to themselves. Now let's see what Maya Laurent is really made of. Let's see if she's strong enough to survive what comes next. The figure pulled up a file on their computer screen. It was thick with information. Financial records, private conversations, family secrets. Everything they needed to destroy the Laurents completely. But this wasn't about business. This wasn't about money or power. This was personal. And Maya was about to learn that her cheating fiancé and traitorous best friend were the least of her problems. Someone wanted her destroyed. Someone wanted to watch her fall. And they had been planning this for a very, very long time. Maya Laurent thought she was about to wage war on two people who had betrayed her. She had no idea she was walking into a battlefield where the real enemy was still hiding in the shadows, pulling strings she couldn't even see yet. The game had just begun. And Maya was about to learn that revenge, when it comes, rarely comes alone. Heartbreak and revenge. The devil's bargain. 3 days after discovering Daniel's betrayal, Maya stood in the private elevator leading to Damien Cross's penthouse office, her reflection staring back at her from the polished steel doors. She had dressed for war today. A black Armani suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent, Louboutin heels that added 4 inches to her height, and her mother's diamond earrings that caught the light like tiny stars. Her dark hair was pulled back in a sleek bun, and her makeup was flawless, hiding the sleepless nights and the tears she had shed in private. Alexander had made the introduction, but Maya knew she needed to handle this meeting alone. Damien Cross didn't respond to family connections or old money pedigree. He responded to strength, intelligence, and people who knew what they wanted. The elevator doors opened directly into his office, and Maya's first thought was that the space was exactly what she expected. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Boston Harbor, minimalist furniture that probably cost more than a luxury car, and technology that looked like it belonged in a sci-fi movie. But it was the man behind the desk that made her breath catch, just for a moment. Damien Cross was even more striking in person than in photographs. He was tall, easily 6'3", with broad shoulders that filled out his custom suit perfectly. His hair was dark, almost black, styled in a way that suggested casual elegance but probably took more effort than it appeared. His face was all sharp angles and strong features, with a jaw that could cut glass and eyes that were a startling shade of gray, like storm clouds before lightning strikes. He looked up when she entered, and Maya felt the weight of his gaze like a physical touch. "Miss Laurent," he said, his voice deep and smooth. He didn't stand up, didn't offer his hand. He simply gestured to the chair across from his desk. "Your brother said you wanted to discuss a business proposition." Maya sat down, crossing her legs and meeting his gaze without flinching. She had dealt with powerful men her entire life. She wouldn't be intimidated. "That's a polite way of putting it, Mr. Cross. But we both know this isn't about business." "Not entirely." Damien leaned back in his chair, a slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "I appreciate directness. So why don't you tell me what this is really about?" Maya pulled out her phone, opened the video that had destroyed her world, and slid it across the desk. She watched Damien's face as he watched the footage, looking for any reaction. His expression remained neutral, professional, but she saw his jaw tighten slightly. "Your fiancé," he said, not a question.
Ex-fiancé, Maya corrected.
"And my former best friend. They've been having an affair for 8 months. Someone sent me this video 3 days ago. The wedding was supposed to be in 3 weeks." Damien slid the phone back to her. "My condolences. But I'm not sure what this has to do with me. I want revenge, Mr. Cross. Not the petty, slash his tires kind of revenge. I want to systematically dismantle everything they've built, everything they care about. I want them to suffer the way I'm suffering, but worse. And I need someone powerful enough, ruthless enough, to help me do it. And you think that's me?" It wasn't a question. "I know that's you. You have a reputation, Mr. Cross. People say you're brilliant, ambitious, and completely merciless when someone crosses you. People also say you've been looking for ways to establish yourself in Boston's old money circles, to move beyond tech and into the kind of social connections that only families like mine can provide. Damien's eyes gleamed with interest. So this is a business proposition after all. A mutually beneficial arrangement, Maya said. You help me destroy Daniel Whitmore and Sophia Chun, both professionally and socially. In return, I open every door in Boston society for you. My family has connections that even your billions can't buy: country club memberships, charity boards, private investment opportunities. I can make you not just accepted by old money, but embraced by it. And how exactly do you propose we destroy your ex-fiancé and his mistress? Maya leaned forward, her eyes bright with determination. Daniel works at Morrison, Brecken, and Walsh. My Uncle Charles sits on their board. With your connections in corporate law and my uncle's influence, we can make sure Daniel's career at that firm ends spectacularly. Sophia works at Branwell Marketing. My father is their largest client. One phone call from him suggesting he's considering taking his business elsewhere, and Sophia becomes a liability they can't afford to keep. That's just their jobs, Damien pointed out. People lose jobs. They find new ones. That's just phase 1, Maya said, her voice cold. Phase 2 is social destruction. I want to attend every major event this season with you on my arm. I want Daniel and Sophia to see me not just surviving, but thriving. I want them to watch me with someone who makes Daniel look like a cheap knockoff. Someone powerful, successful, desirable. Someone like you. Damien studied her for a long moment, his gray eyes calculating. You want to make them jealous. I want to make them regret, Maya corrected. There's a difference, but it's phase 3 that really matters. I want them to turn on each other. Right now, they think they're in love, that there's some great tragic romance that was worth betraying me. I want to plant seeds of doubt, create situations where they question each other, where their perfect relationship starts to crack. And when they're at their lowest, when they've lost their jobs, their reputations, and each other, that's when they'll truly understand what they've done. That's quite a plan, Damien said. Thorough. Vindictive. I like it. So you'll help me? Damien stood up, walking to the window to look out over the city. Maya waited, her heart pounding, wondering if she had miscalculated. Then he turned back to her, and the smile on his face was sharp as a knife. I'll help you, Miss Laurent, but I have conditions. Name them. First, this arrangement needs to look real. We're not just attending events together. We're dating as far as the world is concerned. That means dinners, public displays of affection, you on my arm at every important function. Can you handle that? Maya thought about having to touch Damien, to smile at him, to pretend to be falling for him while her heart was still bleeding from Daniel's betrayal. But then she thought about Daniel's face when he saw them together. Yes, I can handle that. Second, I control the business aspect of the revenge. You have the social connections, but I have the corporate expertise. If I tell you to wait on something, you wait. Agreed. Maya hesitated. She didn't like giving up control, but she also knew Damien was right. Agreed. And third, Damien said, walking back to his desk and leaning against it, his arms crossed. If at any point this arrangement becomes more than fake, if real feelings develop on either side, we address it honestly. I don't do messy. I don't do complicated. Clear communication or we end the agreement. Understood. Maya met his gaze. Understood. But you don't have to worry about that, Mr. Cross. My heart isn't available for the taking. Not anymore. We'll see, Damien said cryptically. He extended his hand. Do we have a deal, Miss Laurent? Maya stood up and took his hand. The moment their palms touched, she felt a jolt of something electric, something dangerous. She quickly pulled her hand back, telling herself it was just nerves, just the anticipation of what they were about to do. We have a deal, Mr. Cross. When do we start? Damien smiled, and it was the smile of a predator who had just spotted prey. Tonight, the Harrington Charity Gala. I assume you're on the guest list. I am. Perfect. I'll pick you up at 7. Wear something that will make your ex-fiancé's jaw drop and his mistress green with envy. Maya smiled back, feeling something like hope kindle in her chest for the first time in days. Oh, Mr. Cross, that won't be a problem at all. The gala. Maya spent the afternoon preparing for war, because that's what tonight was. The Harrington Gala was one of the biggest social events of the season, hosted by Eleanor Harrington, the grande dame of Boston society. Everyone who mattered would be there, including Daniel and Sophia. She had chosen her dress carefully. A deep emerald green silk gown that hugged every curve before flowing into a dramatic train. The neckline was daring without being inappropriate. The back was completely bare, and when she moved, the fabric caught the light like water. She wore her hair down in loose waves, diamond chandelier earrings that had belonged to her grandmother, and a matching bracelet that probably cost more than Daniel's car. When the doorbell rang at exactly 7 o'clock, Maya took a deep breath and opened the door. Damien stood there in a midnight blue tuxedo that fit him like it had been sewn onto his body, which it probably had been. His dark hair was styled perfectly, and those gray eyes widened just slightly when he saw her. "Miss Laurent," he said, his voice rougher than usual. "You look like something worth losing?" Maya finished for him, her tone sharp. Damien's expression hardened slightly, the moment of appreciation passing. "I was going to say stunning, but yes, that too. Shall we?" He offered his arm, and Maya took it, feeling the solid muscle beneath his jacket. They walked to the waiting car, a sleek black Bentley with a driver who opened the door without a word. The drive to the Harrington estate was quiet, both of them lost in their own thoughts. "Are you ready for this?" Damien asked as they pulled through the gates of the massive property. "Are you?" Maya countered. "I'm always ready, Miss Laurent. The question is whether you can pull this off without breaking down when you see him." Maya turned to look at Damien, her eyes flashing with anger. "I'm not weak, Mr. Cross. I survived discovering my entire life was a lie. I survived watching the two people I trusted most in the world betray me. Seeing them at a party isn't going to break me. It's going to fuel me." Damien studied her face, then nodded slowly. "Good, because they're here. I had my assistant confirm the guest list. Both of them arrived 20 minutes ago." Maya's heart skipped a beat, but she kept her face calm. "Then let's give them a show they'll never forget." The car stopped in front of the mansion's grand entrance, where photographers and society reporters waited to capture the arrivals. This was it, the moment where Maya Laurent, jilted bride, either fell apart or rose above it all. The driver opened the door. Damien stepped out first, then offered his hand to Maya. She took it, and the moment her heels hit the red carpet, camera flashes exploded like stars. "Mr. Cross. Mr. Cross? Who's your date?" "Miss Laurent, we heard about your wedding cancellation. How are you doing? Are you two together? Is this official?" Damien pulled Maya close, his arm wrapping around her waist possessively. He leaned down and whispered in her ear, "Smile like you're exactly where you want to be." Maya turned her head slightly, her lips nearly brushing his jaw, and smiled brilliantly at the cameras. She heard gasps, excited whispers. She knew what they were seeing. Boston's most eligible bachelor with the woman who had just been publicly humiliated, looking absolutely radiant together. They walked through the entrance, and Maya felt every eye in the foyer turn to look at them. She kept her head high, her hand resting lightly on Damien's arm. As they made their way through the crowd, she could hear the whispers starting, spreading like wildfire through the room. And then she saw them. Daniel and Sophia stood near the champagne fountain, and the looks on their faces were worth every sleepless night, every tear she had cried. Daniel's face had gone pale, his eyes wide with shock. Sophia looked like she might be sick, her hand gripping Daniel's arm so tightly her knuckles were white. "There they are," Maya murmured to Damien. "I see them. Walk past them. Don't stop. Make them come to you." They glided past Daniel and Sophia without even glancing in their direction, as if they were beneath notice. Maya felt Daniel's eyes burning into her back, felt the shock radiating from both of them. Good. Let them feel a fraction of what she had felt. Damien led her to the bar, ordering champagne for both of them. As they waited, he leaned close, his lips brushing her ear. To anyone watching, it looked intimate, romantic. "Well done," he murmured. "You didn't even flinch." "I told you I wouldn't," Maya said, accepting the champagne glass. "But the night's not over yet. They're going to approach us. Daniel won't be able to help himself. Then let's make sure we're ready for him." They mingled, Damien introducing Maya to several business associates and potential clients. She played her part perfectly, laughing at his jokes, touching his arm familiarly, looking at him like he was the only person in the room. She could feel Daniel watching them, could sense his growing agitation. Took 30 minutes. Maya was talking to Eleanor Harrington herself when Daniel appeared at her elbow. "Maya," he said, his voice tight. "Can we talk? Privately?" Maya turned, her face showing polite surprise, as if she had only just noticed he was there. "Daniel." "Hello. I'm afraid I'm rather busy at the moment. Mrs. Harrington was just telling me about her foundation's new initiative." Eleanor Harrington, who had known Maya since she was a child and had heard about the scandal, smiled coldly at Daniel. "Yes, we were having quite an important conversation, Mr. Whitmore. Perhaps you could find Miss Laurent later." "It's urgent," Daniel pressed, his eyes locked on Maya. Damien materialized at Maya's side, his arms sliding around her waist. "Is there a problem here?" Daniel's eyes flicked to Damien, and Maya saw jealousy flash across his face. "And you are?" Damien cross. "I'm Maya's date." Damien extended his hand, and Daniel had no choice but to shake it. Maya watched as Damien squeezed just a little too hard, a subtle power play that made Daniel wince. "And you must be Daniel Whitmore, the ex-fiancé. I've heard so much about you." The emphasis on ex was subtle but deliberate. Daniel's face flushed. "I need to speak with Maya. Alone. Anything you need to say to me, you can say in front of Damien," Maya said coolly. "We have no secrets." The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Daniel's jaw clenched. "Fine. Maya, what are you doing? You can't actually be dating him already. We only broke up 3 days ago." "Correction," Maya said, her voice like ice. "You broke up with me 8 months ago when you started sleeping with my best friend. I just didn't know it yet. What I do now is none of your concern." "Maya, please, I know you're hurt, but this is ridiculous. You're just trying to make me jealous." Maya laughed, and the sound was genuine. "Jealous? Daniel, you had your chance with me. You threw it away. I'm not trying to make you jealous. I'm trying to move on with my life. Something you've apparently been doing for the better part of a year." Sophia appeared then, looking uncomfortable in a red dress that was trying too hard. "Maya, please, can we just talk about this? All of us? There's so much you don't understand." Maya turned her cold gaze on Sophia. "Oh, I understand perfectly, Sophia. You wanted what I had, so you took it. The only thing I don't understand is how I didn't see what you really were sooner. But thank you, actually. Thank you both. You've taught me a valuable lesson about trust." "We never meant to hurt you," Sophia said, tears welling in her eyes. "Yet somehow you managed to do it spectacularly anyway," Maya replied. "Now if you'll excuse us, Damien and I have better things to do than rehash ancient history." She turned to leave, but Daniel grabbed her arm. "Maya, wait. You can't just walk away from 3 years together. What we had was real." Damien's hand shot out, gripping Daniel's wrist with enough force to make the other man release Maya's arm. "Touch her again," Damien said quietly, his voice deadly calm, "and I'll make sure you never work in corporate law again. Are we clear?" Daniel jerked his arm back, his face red with anger and humiliation. Around them, people were starting to stare, to whisper. This was exactly what Maya wanted. Let them see. Let them all see who the real victim was here. "We're leaving," Daniel said to Sophia, grabbing her hand. As they pushed through the crowd, Maya heard Sophia hiss, "This is your fault. You said she'd be devastated, not moving on with Damien Cross of all people." Daniel's response was lost in the crowd, but Maya saw the tension in his shoulders, the way Sophia jerked her hand away from him. the first crack in their perfect romance. Phase 3 was already beginning. The aftermath. The rest of the gala passed in a blur of strategic conversations and carefully staged moments of intimacy with Damien. By the time they left, Maya knew the gossip machine would be in full gear. By tomorrow morning, everyone in Boston society would know that Maya Loron had not only survived her public humiliation, but had emerged on the arm of one of the city's most powerful men. In the car, Damien poured them both a drink from the bar. "You handled that perfectly," he said, handing her a glass of whiskey. "Better than I expected, honestly." "Did you think I would fall apart?" Maya asked, accepting the drink. "I thought you might hesitate, might show some emotion, but you were ice cold. Impressive." "I saved all my emotions for private moments," Maya said quietly, taking a sip. The whiskey burned on the way down, but it was a good burn. "In public, I'm steel. In private," she trailed off, not wanting to complete the thought. "In private, you're human," Damien finished for her. "There's no shame in that, Maya." She looked at him in surprise. It was the first time he had used her first name. "I thought you didn't do complicated or messy." "I don't. But I also don't expect you to be a robot. Just don't break down in public. That's all I ask." They rode in silence for a while, and then Maya said, "Thank you. For tonight. For everything you did. Don't thank me yet. We're just getting started. Your uncle is meeting with the board at Morrison, Brecken and Walsh next week. Daniel's performance review is coming up. It won't be favorable. And Sophia? Your father is having lunch with the CEO of Brandwell Marketing on Monday. He's going to express some concerns about account management. By Tuesday, Sophia will be called into a meeting about her future at the company." Maya felt a dark satisfaction settle in her chest. "And they'll never know it was us. That's the beauty of it. They'll think it's just bad luck. Karma catching up with them continues 01:12. They won't realize they're being systematically destroyed until it's too late." The car pulled up to Maya's building. Damien walked her to the door, and for a moment, they stood there in the soft glow of the entrance lights. "Same time tomorrow?" Damien asked. "There's a gallery opening. More opportunities to be seen together." "I'll be ready," Maya said. She turned to go inside, then stopped. "Damien?" "Yes. Why are you really helping me? I understand the business reasons, the social connections. But there's something else, isn't there? You could get those connections a dozen different ways. So why this? Why me?" Damien was quiet for a long moment, his gray eyes unreadable. Then he said, "Because everyone deserves justice, Maya, and sometimes justice looks a lot like revenge. Sleep well." He walked back to the car, leaving Maya standing in the doorway, wondering what secrets Damien Cross was hiding behind those storm cloud eyes. The warning. Maya was still thinking about Damien's cryptic words when she entered her apartment and turned on the lights. She froze. Her living room had been ransacked. Cushions were thrown off the couch. Drawers were pulled open. Papers scattered everywhere. Someone had been here. Someone had searched her home. With trembling hands, Maya pulled out her phone to call the police. But before she could dial, she saw it. An envelope on her coffee table, cream-colored and expensive-looking. It hadn't been there when she left. She picked it up with shaking fingers and opened it. Inside was a single card with typed words. "Revenge is a dangerous game, Maya. You're not the only one playing. Be careful who you trust. Not everyone is who they seem." Below the words was a photograph. Maya's blood ran cold when she saw it. It was a picture of Damien Cross, standing in what looked like a private meeting with someone whose face was turned away from the camera. But Maya could see the hand on the table, and on the fourth finger was a ring she recognized. It was her father's signet ring, the one he never took off. What was Damien doing in a secret meeting with her father? When had it been taken? And why? Maya sank onto her couch, her mind racing. She had thought she was using Damien, that this was a mutually beneficial arrangement she controlled. But what if she was the one being used? What if Damien's involvement in her revenge wasn't about business connections at all? Who had broken into her apartment? Who had left this warning? And what did they know that she didn't? Maya looked at the photograph again, studying every detail. In the background, she could just make out part of a newspaper on the table. She grabbed a magnifying glass from her desk drawer and examined it closely. The date on the newspaper was from 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks before Daniel's betrayal had been exposed. 3 weeks before everything fell apart. Which meant Damien had been meeting with her father before Maya had even known about the affair. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Ask Damien about the contract. Ask him what he really wants from your family. Trust no one. Maya's hands were shaking so hard she almost dropped the phone. Someone was watching her, manipulating her, and she had no idea who or why. She had thought Daniel and Sophia were her enemies, the ones she needed to destroy. But what if they were just pawns in a much bigger game? What if the real enemy had been hiding in plain sight all along? And what if, in her quest for revenge, she had just made a deal with the devil himself? The ultimate payback. Secrets and lies. Maya didn't sleep that night. She sat in her living room, surrounded by the chaos of the break-in, staring at the photograph and the cryptic message. Every time she tried to make sense of it, her thoughts spun in circles. Damien had met with her father 3 weeks before the affair was exposed. But why? What contract was the mysterious messenger referring to? And who had sent her that video in the first place? By the time dawn broke, Maya had made a decision. She couldn't trust anyone, not even Damien. She needed answers, and she was going to get them herself. She called her brother first thing in the morning. Alexander answered on the second ring, his voice groggy. Maya? The 6 in the morning. This better be good. Someone broke into my apartment last night. That woke him up. What? Are you okay? Did you call the police? I'm fine and no. Alex, they didn't steal anything. They left something. A message and a photograph. Maya hesitated, then said, It's a picture of Damien meeting with Dad. From 3 weeks ago, before I knew about Daniel and Sophia. Silence. Then, I'm coming over. Don't touch anything. Don't call anyone. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Maya spent the time cleaning up her apartment, her mind racing through possibilities. When Alexander arrived, he looked rumpled and worried, still wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. He took one look at his sister's face and pulled her into a hug. Show me, he said. Maya handed him the photograph and the card. She watched her brother's expression change as he studied them, his jaw tightening. Do you know what this is about? Maya asked. Did Dad mention meeting with Damien? Alex was quiet for a long moment, and Maya's heart sank. He knew something. Alex, please. Whatever it is, I need to know. Her brother ran a hand through his hair, a gesture he only made when he was stressed. Maya, there's something you need to understand about our family's business situation. It's not as stable as Dad wants everyone to believe. Maya felt her stomach drop. What do you mean? About 6 months ago, there was a problem with one of Dad's shipping contracts. A major problem. Could have bankrupted us if it went wrong. Dad needed capital fast, and he needed connections in the tech sector to diversify. Damien Cross was the obvious choice. So Dad made a deal with Damien 6 months ago, Maya said slowly. What kind of deal, Alex? A partnership. Damien invests in Loron Industries, helps us pivot some of our holdings into tech and real estate development. In return, we give him access to our social connections, our old money networks. It's business, Maya. Just business. Then why keep it secret? Why not tell me? Because Dad didn't want you to worry. You were planning a wedding, building your company. He wanted you to be happy. Maya laughed bitterly. How's that working out for him? Alex looked at her seriously. Maya, I don't think Damien set you up. I think this is just an unfortunate coincidence. Dad needed a business partner. You needed help with revenge. Those two things aren't connected. Then explain the timing, Maya said, pulling out her phone to show Alex the text. Someone thinks there's more to this. Someone thinks I shouldn't trust Damien. Alex read the message, his frown deepening. Who sent this? I don't know. But whoever it is, they know too much. They know about Damien, about Dad, about me. They broke into my apartment to leave this warning. That's not a coincidence, Alex. That's deliberate. Okay, Alex said, pacing now. Let's think this through. Who benefits from you not trusting Damien? Who would want to sabotage your revenge plot? Daniel and Sophia, Maya said immediately. They'd want me to doubt Damien, to push him away. If I lose him as an ally, I lose a lot of my power. But how would they know about Dad's business dealings? That information is confidential. Only a few people in the company know about the partnership with Damien. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Alex, who else knows? Give me names. Her brother thought for a moment. Dad, obviously. Me. Our CFO, Richard Blackwell. Dad's assistant, Margaret. And... He paused. And who? Marcus Chen. The name hit Maya like a physical blow. Marcus Chen. Sophia's father. Their CFO's brother-in-law and one of the company's senior advisors. Oh my God, Maya whispered. Sophia's father has access to all of Dad's business information. He could have told her. She could have told Daniel. But why would Marcus sabotage his own company's partnership? Alex asked. That doesn't make sense. Unless, Maya said slowly, he's working for someone else. Someone who wants to see Loran Industries fail. Someone who benefits from our family being destroyed. They stared at each other as the implications sank in. This wasn't just about a cheating fiancé and a traitorous best friend anymore. This was bigger, darker. Someone was playing a long game, and Maya was just a piece on the board. Confronting the devil. Maya called Damien and demanded a meeting. Not at his office, not at a public place. At his home. If she was going to confront him, she needed privacy, and she needed to see his face when she asked the questions that were burning in her mind. Damien's penthouse was in one of Boston's most exclusive buildings, all steel and glass with a view that made Maya's breath catch despite her anger. He greeted her at the door wearing jeans and a casual shirt, looking more human than she had ever seen him. His feet were bare, and there was a coffee mug in his hand. He looked surprised to see her. Maya? I wasn't expecting you until tonight. Is everything okay? Maya brushed. I've never lied to you, Damien said quietly. I've been blunt, maybe even cruel at times. But I've been honest. Can you say the same about anyone else in your life right now? Maya thought about Daniel, who had lied to her for 8 months. Sophia, who had smiled to her face while sleeping with her fiancé. Even her own father, who had hidden his company's financial troubles to spare her feelings. Damien was right. He was the only person who had been completely honest with her, even when the truth was harsh. Okay, Maya said finally. I believe you, but we need to figure out who's behind this. Because whoever it is, they're not done with us yet. The trap. It took 3 days and a considerable amount of Damien's resources to trace the photograph. It had been taken by a private investigator named Marcus Vaughn, who specialized in corporate espionage. When Damien's security team tracked him down and, let's say, persuaded him to talk, Vaughn revealed that he had been hired by an anonymous client 6 months ago to follow both Damien Cross and the Loran family. 6 months. The same time Damien and Maya's father had made their business deal. Someone had been planning this for a very long time. Vaughn couldn't identify his client. The payments had been made through offshore accounts and encrypted messages. But he had kept copies of everything, including surveillance footage of not just Damien and Maya's father, but also of Daniel and Sophia. Hours and hours of footage dating back 8 months. Maya watched the videos in Damien's home office, her stomach turning as she saw Daniel and Sophia's affair unfold in real time. There they were at a hotel. There they were in Sophia's car. There they were laughing together, kissing, planning their future while Maya planned a wedding that would never happen. Someone has been documenting everything, Damien said, standing behind Maya's chair. They've been building a file on all of us. The question is why? Blackmail, Maya suggested. Maybe, but if that was the goal, why haven't they made demands? Why just watch and wait? Maya's phone buzzed. Another text from the unknown number. Meet me at the Harborview Warehouse District. Pier 7. Midnight. Come alone and bring Damien. It's time you learned the truth about who destroyed your life. Maya showed the text to Damien. His jaw tightened. It's obviously a trap. Of course it's a trap. But it's also our only lead. Maya, whoever this is, they've been planning for months. They have resources, intelligence. Walking into their trap could be suicide. So what do you suggest? We just wait for them to make their next move? What if they release all that footage publicly? What if they destroy my family's company? I can't just sit here and do nothing, Damien. Damien studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Fine. But we do this smart. I'm bringing my security team. They'll be hidden, but they'll be there. And if anything goes wrong, we extract immediately. Agreed. Agreed. The truth revealed. Pier 7 was exactly the kind of place you'd expect for a dramatic revelation. Abandoned, dark, and smelling of salt water and decay. Maya and Damien arrived at 11:55 p.m., flanked by 4 of Damien's best security personnel who melted into the shadows. At exactly midnight, the warehouse door opened. A figure stepped out, backlit so Maya couldn't see their face. Then they stepped forward into the moonlight, and Maya's world tilted on its axis one more time. "Hello, Maya," said Marcus Chun, Sophia's father. Maya stared at the man she had known since childhood. Marcus had been at every family dinner, every holiday party. He was her father's trusted advisor and her friend's father. And now he was standing here admitting he was behind everything. "Mr. Chun," Maya breathed. "Why?" Marcus smiled, but it wasn't kind. It was bitter, angry. "Why? You really have to ask? Your family has everything, Maya. Old money, social standing, respect. My family has worked for yours for 3 generations. My father was your grandfather's secretary. I'm your father's advisor. And my daughter? My brilliant, beautiful daughter was supposed to be your maid of honor while you married the golden boy. Always second place. Always in your shadow. So you decided to destroy me?" Maya felt anger rising in her chest. "You orchestrated Daniel's affair with Sophia?" "No," Marcus said. "That was real. Young love or lust or whatever you want to call it. But when I found out about it, I saw an opportunity. Your father's company was failing. If it went under, my investment would be worthless. But if I could find a way to merge Loron Industries with Cross Technologies, to force a partnership that would save both companies, then I would finally have real power. Not just advisor power. Not just employee power. Real control.